from the Arab world, the Arab nation that really fought Israel, in the early days, is Egypt. Egypt fought Israel than any one of them. But right now they are allies. Egypt and Israel don't fight anymore. If you are from those Gulf states and you are creating an issue with Israel and you hope that Egypt will support you, then you might just be wasting your time. You have to think deeper. So that has been the situation for some time now, and that is a strong diplomatic relationship between both nations. On the 29th of February 1940, at the 12th Academy Awards, Hattie McDaniel became the first African American to win an Oscar for her performance as Mammy in the multiple award-winning 1939 movie Gone with the Wind. The 12th Academy Award ceremony presented by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, AMPAS, honored the best in film for 1939. Gone with the Wind is one of the best movies of all time. It's on YouTube. You can go and watch it. That's one of the best movies that was ever made. The 12th Academy Award ceremony presented by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, AMPAS, honored the best in film for 1939. As we earlier told you, the ceremony was held on February 29, 1940, at the banquet in the Coconut Grove at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. It was hosted by Bob Hope in his first of 19 turns as host. David O. Selznick's production, Gone with the Wind, received the most nomination of the year with 13. Other films receiving multiple nominations included Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Wuthering Heights, Goodbye, Mr. Chips, Stagecoach, Love Affair, The Wizard of Oz. That's another wonderful movie that has really made a name. The Wizard of Oz. That's one of another popular movies of 1939. So you should know that cinema did not start today. The Wizard of Oz, The Rain's King, The Private Lives of Elizabeth and Essex, Ninochka, Of Mice and Men, and Dark Victory. These are all the movies that also had multiple nominations. This was the first year in which an Academy Award, also known as Oscar, was awarded in the category of special effects. Previously, however, Special Achievement Award 36. The story is set in Clayton County and Atlanta, both in Georgia, during the American Civil War and Reconstruction era. It depicts the second favorite book by American readers, just behind the Bible. More than 30 million copies have been printed worldwide. As a matter of fact, at the time, Gone with the Wind was read even more than the Bible by Americans. Gone with the Wind is a controversial reference point for subsequent writers of the South, both black and white. Scholars at American universities refer to, interpret, and study it in their writings. The novel has been absorbed into American popular culture. Margaret Mitchell received the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction for the book in 1937. It was adapted into the 1939 film of the same name, which is considered to be one of the greatest movies ever made, and also received the Academy Award for Best Picture during the 12th Annual Academy Award ceremony. Gone with the Wind is the only novel ever written and published by Margaret Mitchell during her lifetime, that she never wrote another book. So you see how popular it is, how the sort of popularity the book garnered, the book gained. So it's not by writing 100 books at times. The movie Gone with the Wind is a 1939 American epic historical romance film adapted from the 1936 novel. It was produced by David O. Selznick and Selznick International Pictures and directed by Victor Fleming, set in the American South against the backdrop of the American Civil War and the Reconstruction era. The film tells the story of Scarlett O'Hara, the strong-willed daughter of a Georgian plantation owner, following her romantic pursuit of Ashley Wilkes, who is married to his cousin, Amelia Hamilton, and her subsequent marriage to Red Butler. The production was troubled. The start of filming was delayed for 2 years until January of 1939 because Selznick was determined to secure Gabel for the role of Rhett, and filming concluded in July. The role of Scarlett was challenging to cast, and 1,400 unknown women were interviewed for the part. Sidney Howard's original screenplay underwent many revisions by several writers to reduce it to a suitable length. The original director, George Cukor, was fired shortly after filming began and was replaced by Fleming, who in turn was briefly replaced by Sam Wood while taking some time off due to exhaustion. Post-production concluded in November of 1939, just a month before its premiere. Gone with the Wind received generally positive reviews upon its release on the 15th of December 1939. While the casting was widely praised, the long running time received criticism. At the 12th Academy Awards, Gone with the Wind received an Academy Award, received 10 Academy Awards, Gone with the Wind received 10 Academy Awards, each competitive 2 honorary, from 13 nominations, including wins for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actress, becoming the first African American, that is Hattie McDaniel, as we earlier told you, becoming the first African American to win an Academy Award. It sets record for the total number of wins and nominations at the time. Gone with the Wind was immensely popular when it first released. It became the highest earning film made up to that point and held the record for over a quarter of a century. When adjusted for monetary inflation, it is still the highest grossing film in history. It was re-released periodically throughout the 20th century and became ingrained in popular culture. Although the film has been criticized as historical negationism, glorifying slavery and the lost cause of the Confederacy myth, it has been credited with triggering changes in the way in which African Americans were depicted cinematically. Gone with the Wind is regarded as one of the greatest films of all time, and in 1989 became one of the 25 inaugural films selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. You can't beat that. Yeah, Gone with the Wind. Yeah, we are going on one music break, and when we come back, we'll talk about national affairs. The program remain Issues in Perspective, and it's a production of History Desk Television. As you know, yesterday we recommended books to you so that you buy the books. Today we still have most of these books. For those of you who really want to know about Nigerian political history and the politics of Nigeria, you know, this program is about the politics of our history and the history of our politics. So we'll recommend these books to you. But let us go on this music break. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Data.
I'm trying to use your contacts to share the live.
Use my contact to share.
Like contacts on Facebook. The Facebook is here now. So
your phone will use
if I just touch anything here, it will freeze. It will pause the distance.
Okay, I understand.
All you're looking for is within you.
Look for this country now.
Lucky Udu. Lucky Udu.
You know, can find on the mountain.
Don't play this one already.
No, change that. We should not start this one. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, as we'll always say, uh, you need to contribute, you need to call. So we discuss issues. The number to call is 08064641536. Now going to national events. The launch of Concord Press Nigeria Limited, a landmark in Nigeria's media history. On February 29, 1980, the Nigerian media landscape witnessed a historic moment with the official launching of Concord Press Nigeria Limited. The ceremony was held at 42 Concord Way, off Murtala Airport Road, Ikeja, Lagos, and was attended by prominent figures from the world of politics, business, and journalism. At the center of the event was Chief Moshood Kashimawo Olawole Abiola, the visionary entrepreneur and philanthropist behind the Concord Press Initiative. Speaking passionately into a microphone, Abiola emphasized the importance of a robust and independent media for Nigeria's growing democracy and development. Concord Press quickly became one of the most influential publishing houses in Nigeria. Among its most notable publications was the National Concord, a newspaper that gained widespread readership for its bold reporting, editorial independence, and commitment to national issues. The Concord Press also published other magazines and journals that contributed significantly to public discourse and national development. The launch of Concord Press marked a turning point in Nigerian journalism, not only due to the scale of investment and professionalism brought into media production, but also because it demonstrated the potential of private sector-led media to shape public opinion and hold power accountable. MKO Abiola's contribution through Concord Press laid a foundation for press freedom and innovation in Nigeria, and the legacy of that launch in 1980 remains a vital part of the country's media history. Yes. So we have other newspapers, a lot of other newspapers, but the Concord has its importance and has its significance in Nigeria's media history. Most of these private-owned newspapers, the reporters tend to delve into where you sometimes you wonder, how do these people have this strong will to delve into these areas? Like, I remember when I told you about the killing of Chris Imodibi and Tayo Awotosin by Charles Taylor's men in Liberia in 1990. As a matter of fact, they died almost a year. Nigerians didn't know until Major General Joshua Dogoyaro had to make the announcement when he held a meeting with Nigerian pressmen in Monrovia, in 1990, or was it 1991? Now let's look at the Benue Plateau Broadcasting Corporation, the BPBC. The Benue Plateau Broadcasting Corporation was created in 1974 to supervise Benue Plateau Television and the radio service. BPTV was subsequently officially inaugurated by the Governor of Plateau State, Police Commissioner Joseph Gomwok, on the 25th of February 1975. On 1st October 1975, on the 15th anniversary of Nigeria's independence, BPTV started color broadcasting. It was the first such regular service in Africa, employing the PAL format. You heard that. The first such regular service in Africa. We used to be told that it was West Africa, but today you know that it's Africa. The takeover of Nigeria by a new federal military government in 1977 reorganized all the existing television stations and incorporated them to the current Nigeria Television Authority. JOS was integrated into Zone D, encompassing central northern Nigeria, which also included Kano and Kaduna. NTA JOS also sent its programming to nearby stations NTA Yola and NTA Makudi. NTA Makudi was created out of a former BPTV relayer. In September of 1980, NTA set up a television college in Jos. By the early 1980s, NTA Jos had its own functional color processing, developing, and printing plants in its studios, and its local programs were all produced. In February of 2008, it was announced that NTA Jos was set to become a zonal network center with the ability of producing programs nationwide. On 4th February 2015, parts of the NTA Jos building were hit by a fire at about 3 p.m. The fire was, however, contained within 30 minutes. NTA Jos is a unit of the Nigeria Television Authority seated in Jos, capital of the Plateau State capital. What did I just say? Capital of Plateau State. Also, radio broadcasting in Plateau State started in February of 1953 when Radio Nigeria Lagos established a booster station for its operation in Jos. Radio Nigeria Lagos was itself a relay station to the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC, in London. The aim at the time was to propagate programs originating from the colonial government in Britain to its overseas administrators and subjects in Nigeria. With the attainment of independence in 1960, Radio Nigeria Lagos gained autonomy and was rechristened Nigeria Broadcasting Corporation, NBC. However, the booster station continued to be a booster station of the NBC. The Plateau Broadcasting Corporation, PBC, took over the radio station run by NBC and called the TV station Benue Plateau Television, Jos. Benue Plateau Television, as we earlier told you, became the first color television station in Africa. In 1977, the federal military government, under the leadership of General Obasanjo, took over all the state-owned stations, we told you that earlier, and renamed them the Nigeria Television Authority. So that is it. So we are still expecting to hear from you. The number to call is 080-6464-1536. That's the number to call. 080-6464-1536. Hello, good morning. Yeah, good morning, Aliu Garba from Otonkon Road.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Posterity will be kind to you, and history will judge us based on looking out facts, trying to educate the public on events that have unfolded in the past. Before the advent of Concord, I think, if I could recall vividly, there was African pilots by Nancy Azikiwe. One of the print media we had in the past.
Yes, that's the early newspapers.
That I think I was mistaking NTV as the fourth color television in Africa. I was even thinking it's West Africa. Now that you have made this DPB was the first color television in Africa and in Jos. During Benin Plateau. Yes. I think this event of national importance that we need to educate the public so that the public will be in the know of these things. Mr. Ferdinand, honestly speaking, I will always attest to the fact that you've done excellently well, and I will urge and appeal to you to keep the good work and keep the flag flying. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Aliu Garba. Thanks a lot for your contribution. We are expecting other calls. Yes, the first newspaper ever in Nigeria was named Iwe Iroyin, and it came out in 1959. So that's where the 12 Nigerian newspapers began. In 1859. And it started when Reverend Henry Townsend, a Christian missionary, founded the paper named Iwe Iroyin in Abeokuta, present-day Ogun State. The newspaper published in Yoruba aimed to spread Christianity and literary among the Egba and Yoruba people. Iwe Iroyin lasted about 10 years ending with the expulsion of missionaries in the late 1860s. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Okay, we've lost that. You can still call. The number to call is 080 64641536. In 1880, Richard Blaze, inspired by Iwe Iroyin, launched the Lagos Times and Gold Coast Colony Advertiser, the first English language newspaper in Nigeria. This marked the start of a flourishing newspaper industry, with notable publications like the Nigerian Pioneer, which came out in 1914, the Daily Times, the Daily Times, that is the biggest of them all and the most popular of Nigerian newspapers. The Daily Times started in 1926. You can't beat that. Then Chief Nnamdi Azikiwe's newspaper, the West African Pilot, started in 1937. The West African Pilot started in 1937. Then the Nigerian Tribune started in 1949. Then the Punch newspaper, which is still in existence today, started in 1971. Then the Guardian newspaper started in 1983. That is 2 years after the Concord. But the Concord has gone moribund. And the Concord newspaper has gone moribund. Remember then when there was this Abiola Babes of Abeokuta, the famous football club that was like almost representing Nigeria every year on CAF competitions. Abiola Babes Football Club. Then, so when Abiola went moribund, the club now was now known as Concords of Abeokuta. That is it was now operating under the newspaper, Concords of Abeokuta. But Concord has also gone moribund. I think with the death of Abiola, MK Abiola, most of these conglomerates, including his newspapers and the football clubs, went moribund. Many newspapers have emerged and disappeared over the years, contributing to Nigeria's rich press history. Well, the number to call again, 080-6464-1536. Yesterday I was making recommendations for those of you that someone called to ask a question. I was asking and said, why was Ilya Bisala will remain with the rank of Major General, and Olusegun Obasanjo, T.Y. Danjuma, and Murtala Mohammed will be promoted generals. This was a military government, and they know how they do their things. And someone said Bisala and Obasanjo were mates. No, Bisala and Obasanjo were not even mates. Bisala was not even mates militarily with Murtala. Bisala was Murtala's senior. If you want to look at it militarily, Bisala was Murtala's senior because Bisala was already hanging the rank of Major General, while Murtala Mohammed was hanging the rank of Brigadier General. Then Murtala became head of state on the 29th of July 1975. That must be on record. That must be on record, and that was the situation. So Bisala, Major General Ilya Bisala, was not of the same mate militarily with Murtala Mohammed. He was of the same mate with the likes of Major General Hassan Usman Katsina, who was the first military governor of Northern Region. And they were of mates. So people are feeling, they are pundits, analysts, who felt that it was because of this marginalization that Bisala felt it. That was why he was involved in the Dinka coup. Why would they make his juniors lieutenant generals and he himself remain with the rank of Major General? Well, that is not something any of us can explain here, because most of us cannot tell the real happenings militarily within that circles at the time. But you can still read these books. These books are here to give you details. I have this one here. I've recommended it severally, and I still feel you should get it. For those of you following on social media, you can see the book right here with me, The Tragedy of Victory. The Tragedy of Victory. Remember, I've always told you about this book, The Tragedy of Victory, by Brigadier General Bodin Alabi Isama. You can get it on udarabooks.com. You can also get the hard copy from your local bookshops. So I have it here, and it's on record. Brigadier General Godin Alabi Isama has the Nigerian Civil War pictures more than anybody dead or alive. There's no one that has the volume of pictures that Brigadier General Godin Alabi Isama has on his own original copies, the one he snapped himself and the one he asked some of his boys to snap during the Nigerian Civil War. And most of those pictures are here in this book. So look at the book again, The Tragedy of Victory. And there's another book I'm going to recommend to you. These are facts. These are very, very cogent accounts of the Nigeria Civil War. He said on the spot account of the Nigeria Biafra War in the Atlantic Theater. The Atlantic Theater. Then there's this book, I'll bring it one of these days. The Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War. There are two of them. There's the Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War, and there's the Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War Aftermath by the same author, Major General Alexander Madiego. That's a book to read. That's the very first account of the Nigeria Civil War and the first Nigerian military coup and the July 29 mutiny that I read, courtesy of my dad. Then I was just like 10 years or under when I read that book. And just imagine the sort of the sort of inclination, the sort of how I really felt, or how the sort of transformation, reading that book, will bring to me at that age. Just imagine what I'll begin to think, and the kind of future I'll begin to think of myself at that age, reading that book, and the sort of inspiration that I will garner reading that book at that age. That's why I will say, and I will always tell you, please encourage your children to read these books. They are very important. Then there's this one here. I told you about this book yesterday. So yesterday we were not able to look at all the books. I told you about this one, Why We Struck. Why We Struck. That is the story of the first Nigeria military coup. It was written by Major Adewale Ademoyega. I felt to you, though not